You're listening to the All-American Actors Podcast, episode 70. In today's episode, we are talking about mindset and how the way you think about the American accent can play a big role in how authentic you sound. That's coming up next. Ready to go behind the scenes and learn what it really takes to build a sustainable career as a working actor in the U.S. film and TV industry? Join me, Catherine Beck, your All-American Accent Coach, as I give you the insight and inspiration to take action on your career. Learn my best tips and tricks to performing with an American accent, and hear from working actors and other industry professionals to give you a comprehensive overview of this biz we call showbiz. This is the All-American Actors Podcast. We will dive into today's episode in just a moment, but I want to remind you, my very loyal listeners of the podcast, if you have not yet sent over a review, it would mean the world to me to hear what you think of the podcast. All you need to do is head over to Apple Podcast, tap the 5 stars, and just leave a short review, just letting me know what you think of the podcast. Not only is it great to get your feedback and learn what you're thinking about the show, but also it really helps with Apple's algorithm to get noticed and recognized by Apple, which means we get seen by a much bigger group of actors all around the world. So if you don't mind, if you haven't yet done so, go ahead and leave us a review. All right, let's jump into today's episode. And I was inspired to talk about mindset because I just finished my most recent launch of the program, All American Voice, and I really recognize that for so many actors, state of mind, how you think about the accent really plays a major role in your authenticity and the outcome. So whether or not you book that role or get that call back, how confident do you feel? How authentic do you sound? It all plays a role, and it all starts with how we think, our state of mind or our mindset. And for many of us, and I would love to hear from you, if any of these are things that potentially are holding you back. Imposter syndrome, feeling like you'll never get the accent. What else do I often hear? I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'll never get this accent. I'm too old. I don't have a good ear for the accent. And it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel genuine. It feels over the top. So there's a lot of things going on inside the head, isn't there? It's like we're having 5,000 conversations all at once, and it can be confusing. It can be overwhelming. It can be annoying, and it tends to get in the way, especially when we get these really big US auditions. And let me know if this has ever happened for you, where, you haven't been practicing. You know you should be practicing, but you haven't been practicing. And then all of a sudden you get this audition from your agent, and it's 10 pages long, and it's very wordy, and there's big monologues, and you're going, oh my goodness, how am I going to learn all of this in 2 days' time and sound authentic in the American accent? So we go into freak out mode and we go, okay, what do I need to do to get myself to where I need to be? And you may call a dialect coach, you might call me, or you might start referring to some notes that you had and the American accent and doing like a crash course into the American accent all over again. You're feeling really rusty because you haven't practiced. And so as it gets closer to that time to put down that self-tape audition, you start doubting yourself. And it goes from this desire to book the role to just wanting to get by. And just wanting to do a good enough job so you don't upset your agent or embarrass yourself, and your agent thinks, well, why am I representing this person? They don't even have a good American accent. So you start doubting yourself, and you go from wanting to book the role to just wanting to get by in the audition so that you can complete the audition and then move on to the next thing and go, oh gosh, I wish I was more prepared. And what happens is if we don't think about this differently, if we don't take different actionable steps, we just repeat the cycle over and over and over again. So what happens? We put down the audition, we don't feel good about it, and then we go off and do other things. Then maybe a month later, 2 months, who knows? You get another American audition. And you think, oh, I'm so excited. It's been ages since I got an audition. So you're really excited, but then all these feelings come back again. The same feelings that you had before, the doubts, the worries, the insecurities. Can I do this? Why am I putting in all this effort if I'm not going to book this role? It's going to go to someone else. It's going to go to an American. It's not even going to go to me because I don't sound American and I'm never going to get this accent. So why do I even continue to try? I should just give up. I'm crap at this accent. What am I doing? It's exhausting, isn't it? When you see yourself going through this and you hear those silly thoughts over and over inside of your head, it's exhausting. And you can't help but wonder, is this what's getting in the way of me booking that role? Is this what's getting in the way of me sounding authentic? Makes sense, doesn't it? That we're setting ourselves up for failure. Or we're setting ourselves up for the outcome that we already put inside our head. Because you already put that thought in your head that, well, I'm not prepared enough. I am not going to book this role. It's going to go to someone else. I just want to get by. If you want to just get by in the audition, you really think you're going to book that role? So it starts with how we think, setting ourselves up for success, not just for that audition, but for the day-to-day, to help excite us to practice, to think about that outcome, to think about that end result, that goal, those hopes and dreams that we had when we first said, I want to be an actor. When we can keep that in the forefront of our mind and continue to take small, actionable steps to get there, that's when we start to think about things differently in a way that we should be thinking about things so that we get to that end result. So what I want for all of you, and this was something that I had to do as well. This was something that I recognized in myself earlier this year, is that we need to be present and aware in the moment, in the day-to-day when we are making decisions and we have a choice to make to either go one way or the other way. We need to be aware of those moments so we can recognize, do we go the route of familiarity, routine, following those old, silly thoughts that only set us up for defeat? Or do we take that road less traveled? Do we go towards those goals? Do we start to believe in ourselves? Do we start to think about things happening the way we want them to happen? Actually achieving those goals, actually booking that role, actually getting on set, actually being the working actor that we want to be, consistently working, getting amazing roles coming our way, working with amazing actors, amazing directors, amazing projects. You see, it's all very possible. The only one getting in the way from this happening is ourselves. So I want to leave that with you today because over this past couple of weeks, I've been doing this 5-day American Accent Challenge, which I love. And I see actors in all different states. Some are new, some have been acting for a while, some are stuck. And the one common thread is we all have these very similar insecurities when it comes to performing with an American accent. We start to doubt ourselves, our abilities, and that's where I come in. And so that is why mindset has become a very big part of how I teach, and I'm very happy to do so because I can see the difference it makes in my actors. When they start to think about things differently, it literally shifts how they speak. So I want you, for your homework assignment this week, actors, is to be present in each moment. Notice when you have that choice to make and notice what choice you choose to make. So it could be about the American accent. It could be about your acting. It could be about an audition. It could be about anything really. I want you to start being present and aware and noticing things. And that is going to make a tremendous difference in your acting as well and your American accent. So see how you go with that assignment. And don't forget to tag me in it. Head over to Instagram and let me know how you go. You can send me a DM, pop yourself on Instagram stories, tag me in it at Catherine_Beck_, and let me know how you go with today's homework assignment. And if you have any other questions or comments or topics you'd like to hear on the podcast, just let me know. And coming up next week on the show, I'm going to be speaking with actor Chum Ahelapola. He's going to be sharing with us not only how he booked a Disney movie, but also a Disney show, and how he started to think about things differently. And when he did, that's when the path of his career totally changed. That's coming up next week. Now make sure to share this show with all your actor friends. Let them know what's coming up next week and invite them to tune in with you and learn how to become an all-American actor so you can be the working actor you dream to be. Until then, go practice your American accent, and I'll see you back here next time.